And joining us with reaction to all of this is former Ohio Democratic Congressman and current candidate for Ohio Governor, Dennis Kucinich. All right, good evening. What shall I call you, Congressman? Dennis? Maybe Governor?
Dennis is fine, Your Honor.
All right. Touche. All right, let's talk about the border wall. You know, one of the issues that people have been talking about is the fact that they think that it doesn't really serve a purpose. And whether it's a wall or some other kind of construction, you would have to agree that 80 to 90% of the drugs coming into this country, irrespective of whether there's a market for these drugs here, comes from our southern border.
Well, we want to do everything we can to stop the drugs from coming in and to stop them in the countries that they're coming from. That's true. But I'm not a fan of the border wall, Judge. I think that it's a waste of money. They can accomplish the same thing with electronic fencing. And that, you know, we have bridges in Ohio that are falling down. I'd rather see the money be spent on infrastructure here at home.
Well, would you tell your Democratic compatriots or Democrat compatriots to go to the table and talk to the president about infrastructure and, you know, taking care of the bridges and the roads?
Look, we need a lot of money to do that. It's probably going to take a couple $1 trillion. And if I was advising the president, I'm not, but I would say put more money in it and build more. Let's put America back to work rebuilding all these bridges and roads.
Well, but I want to go back, Dennis, to the whole issue of the wall versus the fence. You know, what we've seen is billions and billions of dollars. I mean, I remember talking about a fence, you know, when Bill Clinton was the president. I mean, there was a lot of talk about building some kind of separation, and that just hasn't worked. And I was at the border myself several months ago, and I have to tell you, they have these areas where during the monsoon season they actually raise these gates or fences, and you know the illegals can come through and they all are tunneling through and they're popping up on the U.S. side. I mean, you know, we've got to stop the human trafficking and the drug dealing, and I think that the thought that technology can really perform the same function doesn't make sense, because with technology you constantly have to be watching it.
Well, look, you know, in our backyards, we have motion detectors that can tell you if a cat's moving across the backyard. We're spending all this money on brick and mortar, and I think it could be better spent. But the deeper issue here is our immigration policies. I mean, yes, we have to protect the border, but, you know, right now what's happening is people who don't have a criminal record are being deported. There's been an increase in that.
Yeah, well, maybe they're not supposed to be here, with all due respect, Dennis. I mean, they're being deported because they weren't invited. They didn't do it legally. And I have to tell you something very powerful, and that is there was a mayor who just, from Escondido, I believe, who talked about making sure that the sanctuary cities aren't protecting the criminal illegals. He wasn't born here. People get it. It's about our safety. Or am I wrong?
Well, I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm going to say this, that there's a danger here of the federal government conscripting local and state police. The local police have to have discretion in law enforcement. Senate Bill 54 in California basically has stated that if we federalize the police, then we're going against the spirit of posse comitatus. And here in Ohio, we have a number of sanctuary cities. I agree with the sanctuary city principle. Columbus, Dayton, Lorain, Painesville, Oberlin, Lake County. These are all sanctuary places. Well, and, you know, we want to protect people who don't have criminal records.
Who came here illegally. You want to protect people. You know what? We're running out of time, but I got to tell you one thing, Dennis. What is so frustrating is that for all of the dangers that are consistent with someone being released by local law enforcement, you would think that people would stand up for American citizens, because it becomes a danger zone.
The ones who are criminals, yes, but the people who have not committed a crime.
Well, how are they going to get them if they don't share the information?
If they haven't committed a crime, they are protected by the Fourth and the Fifth Amendment.
Really? Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
We'll talk about that again. Thank you, Dennis Kucinich.
Thank you.